Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, katoa. No mai, haere mai. Hello and welcome to everyone. It has been just under a week since we had the conclusion of the Women's 2025 Division 2 Group B World Championships here in this very location. But this week, it's the men's chance to fight for glory on the ice. Thank you for joining us as we bring you the 2025 IIHF Men's Ice Hockey World Championships Division 2 Group B. This is Matt Chavez to my left and Joel LeBreton on my right. My name is Matt Whiffen and we'll be bringing you all the action from here in the Dunedin Ice Stadium, located in the beautiful city of Ōtepoti, Dunedin. This year, the host nations for this tournament is New Zealand, Aotearoa. They'll be joined from teams across the world, including Iceland, Georgia, Bulgaria, Thailand, and Chinese Taipei. Tonight, the first game for New Zealand, the host nation, is against Chinese Taipei, and they'll be looking to start their tournament on a high. We have just had a official welcome, a traditional pōwhiri on the ice. Sorry we couldn't bring you that one here, but very soon we'll be having the opening ceremony and some welcoming speeches from representatives of the IIHF and the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation. The excitement has been building for a week. We had a big week for the women's tournament, Matt.
We did.
Tell us, what do you expect from this men's tournament this week?
Well, that's the whole point, is you don't really know what to expect. I mean, there's some things you can take from this, coming into it from last year and so forth, but this is a roll of the dice. This is, let's see what everybody's got because it's a fresh slate. Already an interesting couple of results. Iceland coming in and getting shut out. That was a surprise. So saw a 3-minute penalty earlier today. That was the first time I've ever seen that in my entire life. That was really, it was official and correct. Yeah. So it's been interesting already, but I expect a lot of tempo, a lot of pressure ice hockey out of the New Zealand side. And Chinese Taipei is, honestly, it's a bit of a black box. We'll see how they decide to deal with things strategically, but generally we're not really sure. They're going to be, from what I know, they're kind of a neutral play style, and that's what we're going to see if they do. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know that, but we just don't know exactly how this is going to scout.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a hard one to pick. Yeah. Joel, you're joining us here for the first 3 games of this tournament.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the booth.
Thank you. Very excited.
Have you got any predictions, thoughts on how the tournament might go for any of the teams?
As Matt was saying, you know, it's such a condensed tournament. 5 games, all or nothing, no playoffs. Every point counts. So every single team is going to come into this all guns blazing. There's no other way to play it. You've got to just be all in from the very, very first puck drop to the very, very last whistle, the entire tournament, because every goal counts, every point counts. It could mean the difference between going up a division, going down a division.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's as I said, it's very, very important. We're in for a great match up here. Last time, who knows?
Yeah. And Matt, you mentioned the game just before now. Iceland going down 4-0 to Georgia.
To Georgia, yeah, that was an interesting one. Finding out that Iceland kind of showed up a little late, so somebody who you thought might be a favorite already shut out. So that's a
as I said, short tournament that makes a big difference.
Yeah, looking at the matchups on screen there, New Zealand IIHF ranking 41st and Chinese Taipei IIHF ranking 40th. So very close on the table, which you'd expect in the similar group. Yep. But head-to-head, you mentioned it, Joel, these two teams won last year. New Zealand won last year.
Yep.
The last time they played each other was back in 1987.
Wow.
So that was a long time ago. So they don't play each other very often. That was another win for New Zealand, but I don't think we can read too much into that result from almost 30 years.
There's quite a few players on the New Zealand team and the Chinese Taipei team who weren't even alive at that time. So,
yeah, a couple of players to look out there for both teams. Looking at Jordan Chalice there, 33 years old. First all-time in assists for New Zealand, which is a pretty big stat.
Yep.
And Lin Hung Zhu, 35 years old, first all-time in points. So one of the guys to watch out for on the team there.
Yeah, you look at the similarity between the games played there as well. And in this international IIHF tournament, 58 games is a lot of tournaments.
Well, when you're playing
It's like
5 at a
11
time,
years.
yeah, that's 11 years at least. So here's the early points table for everybody. Georgia winning earlier today, and also Bulgaria taking that one. That was the one where I saw the 3-minute penalty.
yeah,
Google
yeah.
it. It's interesting.
I think Thailand took an early lead in that game, going up 3-0 before Bulgaria struck back, and I believe the final score was 5-3 in the end.
5-3 it was, yes.
Oh, wow, that's a big
And
comeback.
then 4-0 on the other one. That was an interesting one just to see. You see somebody come in and you think, okay, they're going to be ready to go, ready to play this game, and then they just kind of just didn't have that pep in the step on the ice. Maybe they'll turn it around tomorrow. They just needed to acclimate. But to be fair, Iceland's 14 time zones away.
Yeah.
And they just landed. So, not an easy task for them to just jump out of a plane and get out there. It's pretty heroic to just do it. So,
Definitely.
I struggle after a 3-hour car drive to a different city.
Exactly.
Interesting thing, Matt, you said, Joel, every point counts. Iceland going to be chasing this tournament already. One loss, if they fall the second time, they could just about almost decant themselves out from at that top spot. Medal's still on the table, but once you drop one, you are really chasing for that medal and hoping other results go your way.
Yeah, a lot of results would have to kind of just be right in the middle. Now, it is fair if as an ice hockey fan, you might be aware of some of the standings. It's 3 points for a regulation win, 2 for an overtime win, 1 for an overtime loss, and no points for a regulation loss. So that's the important difference with the way that an IIHF tournament might run to another possibly different type of league that you might be aware of. But that has made it so important. In the women's tournament last week, it was critical. It came down to a single overtime situation that really changed the tournament. So every point counts.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, so we are going to have a wee break here. There's a ice cream going on at the moment, and we're going to be back very shortly for the opening ceremony and puck drop for New Zealand versus Chinese Taipei. No mai, haere mai. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We are moments away from bringing you the opening ceremony of this year's 2025 IIHF Men's Ice Hockey World Championships Division 2 Group B. My name is Matt Whiffen. I've got to my left veteran broadcaster Matt Chavez, and to my right craft beer enthusiast Joel Le Breton, and we are going to be bringing you all the action from tonight's game. Like I say, we are just moments away from the opening ceremony. So we are going to see some speeches and a welcome from some representatives of the IIHF and the NZIHF. I believe we have Peter Breezer and Andy Mills will be doing some speeches. And we can take a look now on the ice as we go to the opening ceremony. As I mentioned earlier, the competing teams for this year, we have the host nation, Aotearoa, New Zealand, Iceland, the team that has been relegated from last year's Division 2B, Division 2 Group A. We have Georgia coming on the ice there, flag of Georgia, and Bulgaria, another nation coming from a long way away to compete here in Dunedin, New Zealand. Chinese Taipei, another competitive nation. They'll be joining on the ice tonight very shortly. Thailand rounding out the 6 nations competing here in Dunedin, New Zealand.
I think we're going to be in for a great tournament here. You know, as I was saying before, every point counts from the very, very beginning. All of these teams have to come out of the gate swinging. Every single point count, every goal, everything.
Well, you say that. Interestingly, there was some swinging going on in some of the earlier games, so it was a very physical couple of matches, a couple of games that were just a different tone set. So if anybody was watching those earlier, a lot of physicality. It'll be interesting to see if that physicality plays out in tonight's game, or if it's more of a speed show, which is actually where I think this is going to end up. We'll see if that's how that works out, but at least to start with, a lot of physicality in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a big difference from the women's tournament we had here just over a week ago, where there's no checking allowed. Body contact is sort of allowed. There's certain things you can do in the women's game, but men's hockey, it is a free-for-all. You can hit each other open ice. You can collect them on the boards as long as it's not a boarding where you push them head first into the board. So yeah, expect a lot more pushing and shoving. Yeah. These guys go full speed. Absolutely.
And it'll be interesting to see as well, because, you know, the game of hockey, you can play in so many different ways. There's so many different aspects to it. You can play physically, you can play skillfully, you can play fast, you can play really, really well disciplined and not. And all these different countries will all have different systems in place. So it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, system on system, who's going to come out on top.
And it's Chinese Taipei taking the blue line there as we line up with New Zealand on the other side. And it's important to call out, the New Zealand team is known as the Ice Blacks. We'll be calling them New Zealand throughout the game. But if you hear a reference to Ice Blacks, that is the national team of New Zealand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oribody Dunedin. It is our honour and privilege to be hosting the International Championships. We will get underway with our first game very, very shortly. But to make it official and to make you feel welcome, please also welcome Dunedin Mayor, the Right Honourable Jules Radish.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora tātou, ko Jules Radish tōku ingoa, and welcome to Oripody Dunedin and the Dunedin Ice Stadium for the 2025 Ice Hockey Men's 2B World Championships. It's an honour for Dunedin to host this international tournament because we're a city that loves our sport. Lucky local audiences have already enjoyed some awe-inspiring action on the ice after the women's tournament. And our wonderful Ice Ferns, who are runners-up after a drawn game and a penalty shootout against Australia. Now, my microphone is gone. Hello? Give me the button. Here we go. Now, the microphone is restored. So the Ice Ferns were runners-up after a drawn game and a penalty shootout against Australia. So now we're excited to cheer on the mighty Ice Blacks in the men's tournament. And a very warm welcome too to the visiting men's teams from Thailand, Bulgaria, Georgia, Iceland and Chinese Taipei. It's fantastic to have you and your supporters here, and I know your performance on the ice will inspire and entertain us in the days ahead. While you're here, I hope you have the opportunity to enjoy some of the sights and attractions that our special southern city has to offer, because we're very proud of our world-class heritage, stunning scenery, vibrant arts, heritage and hospitality. And I'd like to acknowledge the International Ice Hockey Federation and everyone involved in organising this annual tournament for all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes to bring an event like this to life. To the players, congratulations on your success in this spectacular sport. It's an amazing achievement to perform at this level and to represent your country on the world stage. I know it takes many years of hard work to reach these heights, so in the coming days, remember to take a few moments to reflect on everything you have achieved to date. In the meantime, I wish you all the very best of luck. Enjoy the competition, the connections, and the camaraderie. Kia ora.
And now the official speech from the IIHF Vice President and Tournament Chair, Peter Breezer.
Good evening, New Zealand. Good evening, Dunedin. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your words, and also thank you very much for great support of this tournament. And Mr. President, thank you very much for your work in preparation, and thank you to the New Zealand Ice Hockey Federation for hard work. We had a difficult time after or during the COVID, and I can just say that International Ice Hockey Federation is very happy that you came strong organizing 2 World Championships during one season, and we wish you great success for the work. I hope that we can have a good, fair sport and good tournament. And just the official part, on behalf of IIHF, I can declare this 2025 Division 2B World Championship official as open. Good luck to everybody.
Stand, if you are able, for the New Zealand National Anthem, as beautifully sung by Griffin Nicol. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the next best thing to the full-time score to hit the microphone. Mr. Griffin Nicol, thank you again, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, we're ready. The ice is icy, the lights are lighty. Let's play some ice hockey, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for those words from our dignitaries. Wonderful national anthem by Griffin Nicol, and the scene is set here, Matt, for game number 1 for New Zealand.
Game number 1 is the tone setter for both teams here. We'll see if Chinese Taipei can skate their way to a victory tonight, or is New Zealand going to be too strong for them? And we will go through the starting lineups now. Joel, why don't you take that first?
Absolutely. So in net for New Zealand tonight, we have Aston Brooks starting. Forward lineup, we have Lachlan Freer, Colin McIntosh, Chris Eden. Backing them up on the D, we've got Mitchell Freer and Justin Daigle. And fun fact, it's the first time all 3 of the Freers have been playing on a New Zealand team together.
Very nice. And net for Chinese Taipei, number 1, Xiao Po Yu. On the blue line, number 2, number 12, Peng Mo. And number 15, Pan Yi Chan. On the forwards, number 16, Yang Chang Xing. Number 13, Lin Yo Chen. And number 9, Wen Payan.
So I'll give you the this the statement that I did last week when we did the Turkish announcements. We're going to do our very best for Chinese Taipei. Please excuse us if we make a couple of mistakes along the way, but we will do our very best. And it looks like we are getting ready. So, here we go. Period 1 action from the Dunedin Ice Stadium. It'll be Colin McIntosh taking on Yang here at the face-off. We're underway. IIHF 2B underway for New Zealand and Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei pushing it into the corner, but a quick chance there for New Zealand. Colin McIntosh following. It's Yang around the corner. He can't hold it in. Freer dumps it back in on a delayed offside. They touch up. And Chinese Taipei moves out. They leave a drop pass. That one to Yang. Up to another Yang, and that goes back behind the net. It will be Daig giving it up to Freer, Mitchell Freer. Pass forward by Daig. McIntosh has it for a moment. In neutral ice still. And that's Jacob Carey coming up somewhat up the right side. He's 1-on-3. He gets the half boards, looks for some help there. And it goes to Chang. Chang sends it around the boards, but not out. It is Amston holding it in, and that goes to the side. Chalice with it. In front, shot. That goes just right. Another shot by Carey. That's knocked aside, and Chinese Taipei break out. They get to neutral, knocked up by Lin, and turned over. Atwell's got it now behind Brooks, and Chinese Taipei for a line change here as Jacob Carey skates up the left-hand side. He's all alone here, 1-on-5, loses an edge, turns it over, but everybody else changes up for New Zealand, and it'll be Sandoy getting back there first to get an icing call, and that's going to leave Chinese Taipei players out there a little tired.
Well, I like this from New Zealand here. This is Stephen Amston here with a quick shot in front. New Zealand's leading goal scorer, and Stefan Amston, leading goal scorer and points getter from the 2024 Championships.
He's going to be a player to watch this tournament for sure.
Devlin and Chen go at it. Devlin gets it, but it goes to Chinese Taipei going around. It'll be Lin getting there first, dumping it out, and catching up with it first. Ivan Dalmato giving it to Sandoy. Sandoy setting up the offense, passing it to the side. That goes to Flynn Hayward-Jones. That goes out of the offensive end and then over the plexiglass for a stop in play. So that's going to come just outside the blue line. And a neutralized face-off as all 10 players jump the boards and we get fresh legs out there. So an interesting one, fellas. There's a lot going on here. There are a lot of names. We're not sure exactly the relationships, but several of the same family names here for Chinese Taipei. So just trying to keep everybody sorted out here. There will be several repeats, and that is on purpose. Collected by Mitchell Freer, leaves it at neutral. Peng gets it first from Rusky Jones. And there is a call here, guys. What do we see?
Looks like a high stick is going to be called here against M. Peng. Just lifted. Tried to go for the stick lift and ended up getting it into the face of the New Zealand player. First power play for New Zealand.
Let's see what they've been drawing up here.
So Mo Peng sitting for 2 minutes and Colin McIntosh to take the face-off against Lin. That goes out to Daig. Daig pushes it to the side. Half boards. Audis with it, sends it behind. Back to Audis. Cross-ice pass. Daig with a deflected shot goes behind the net. Into the corner. And as they dig that out, Daigle's got it. Across the blue line. Sent back in by McIntosh. They cycle through here. Power play moving along. Shot, and that is a save by Xiao. So good movement on the power play to start.
Yeah, fans of the NZIHL will be familiar with Colin McIntosh in that position on the left-hand side. He's lethal over there. He's a very good player, a good power play player, but Daigle as well on the point there. You've got two very dangerous players who can shoot it.
McIntosh wins that, leaves it for Carey. He's got it on the sideboard, gets it back. McIntosh circles looking for an outlet. He's pinned in on the boards. Daigle comes in, grabs the puck from him just in time as he skates towards the corner, leaves it for Carey. Then goes around the side looking for a pass. Audis not there for it. Eden holding it in at the point. He has it at the half boards, passes it low. That goes around and try to get it up front. That was Audis with that one, and it'll be Carey sending it the length of the ice. That'll go for icing. McIntosh there, and I got one wrong there. That was Chris Eden on that one.
Chinese Taipei managed to get a change off that first clear, but then they got a break anyway with the icing.
Chinese Taipei are doing really well here. You can see them very, very disciplined in their own zone, breaking up those lanes, not giving New Zealand the opportunity to get that bump pass in one time.
That one going back to Dalmato. And New Zealand looking to set up the continued power play here with about 40 seconds to go.
Just got some extra changes there after the icing.
Amston takes it in. Amston up the left side. Amston holding, double team, goes back to the point. Long shot in, looking for a deflection, doesn't get all the way in on Shao. And Chinese Taipei looking to clear. Good hit there on the board. Lee goes down. That's passed aside up to Chalice. Chalice not able to hold on to it, and that'll be an icing call on the power play, which will effectively end that for New Zealand. They've got 19 seconds left.
This is the physical play we were talking about. There's two players collide there. Just a push from the New Zealand player, sending the Chinese Taipei player into the other one.
And it'll be Atwell to take the face-off against Yicheng Lin. A hold up here. And here's the puck. They drop it. Won by Burns, or won over to Burns. And that puck comes back out to neutral. Burns looking for the long pass, gets it in front, looking for Dalmato, but couldn't connect there, and that is going to end the man advantage for New Zealand. And that was a good play there by Chang Yang Yin, knocking over the New Zealand player there. Now Burns trying to keep it in, sent to Simon. And that's sent the length of the ice. No icing there. It was over the red line, but they chose not to play it, so we continue on here. Chris Eden back out on the ice. And Sandoy gets it here. Remy Sandoy sending it back. And it'll go to Luke Simon. Up to Freer. Back into the zone, and that was offsides. It was YC Lin that was just over the blue line to call the whistle.
Yeah, that was extremely close here. The puck was kicked back in. It looked to me like he had tagged up there, but it was a tough one. The linesman got to make a quick decision, and they blew the whistle play there on that time.
So that faceoff comes just outside the zone. It'll be McIntosh. He loses that faceoff back to Chinese Taipei. That goes in off from Shen up to Chi, sent in, and it'll be Simon getting that first. Then McIntosh forward to Eden. Eden holding on to it. Passes forward, intercepted. Then it's turned around, and that is Chen coming up the left side. Chen smashed into the corner there, but Chinese Taipei holding on to the puck for a moment. They still have it here. Chi jumping in on the play, and then finally turned over to Remy Sandoy. Pass forward to Eden. Eden 1-on-2. He's going to take the puck in the zone. Takes the shot, and an easily seen shot by Shao as he gloves it and stops play.
That was a great move by Eden there as well. You see just a little toe drag, freezes the defense, gets the shot on a little bit far out, but if you're getting the puck to Eden, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, he didn't have any line mates that had all gone for a change on that particular play as well, so he had to do it himself.
Devlin taking this one, wins the face-off shot, and that goes just wide. And back out to neutral. Chinese Taipei with it. They gain the zone, left behind, and it goes out to Lin. Lin loses it on the corner, but it's passed over to YK Lin. That goes out to Sang. Sang throwing it in, getting a rebound behind the net. Brooks looking at it, not doing a thing. That goes out to neutral, goes the length of the ice. We'll see if any changes happen. And yes, a little bit. Dalmato coming off the ice. And that will go for an icing as Daigle's back there first. Chang just whips it around the boards, and we get a stoppage in play.
Well, pace is already a big step up from last week's women's tournament. You can just feel these guys moving across the ice with speed. The shots are faster, the passes are faster, and the icings reach the end of the rink a lot faster.
And a stop in that face-off. There's a, looks like a violation on Chinese Taipei, so they're going to do it again. And they're looking for a change. They're not allowed to change here, so that's the delays. They're trying to get the same players back out on the ice. And it'll be Atwell taking this one. New Zealand. Let's see, that goes around the back here for Chinese Taipei. The New Zealanders not able to control it. They do keep it in the zone, and that puck flips up and goes over the boards. So another stoppage in play and a face-off coming up.
You talk about the intensity. You look at the physicality between these two teams as well. Chinese Taipei are not afraid to mix it up in the corners there, take the hits, keep on moving, make the plays.
Yeah, you got to realize that eventually you're just going to take a hit in the corner, in the middle of the ice. You just got to be prepared for it and make sure that you're hard on your stick or on your skates.
Chinese Taipei win that face-off. That goes over to Taeyeon Wen. Wen goes up the left side, tries to get a pass to the middle, and that gets intercepted, and he is dumped into the boards for his troubles. That goes to Carey, up to Atwell. Atwell takes the zone, goes up the right side, sits in the corner, spins backwards looking for a friendly face there, but can't really do anything with it. Carey comes over, pinches at the half boards, but that gets given up to Chinese Taipei out in the middle. But a pass intercepted quickly by Jordan Chalice, and it turns right back around for New Zealand. Long shot in, just looking for a deflection. Carey chasing it, and a line change effective for New Zealand. Simon and Burns back there for the collective, and a stop, and I think that's going to be
I think it's just
6 men, or
ice,
is that
just icing. He was just a little bit
icing?
short of halfway
There
when
you
he
go.
dumped it in.
The way he dumped it in, they would needed that change too. So it'll be interesting here. Tied legs from Chinese Taipei, fresh legs from New Zealand. Could be a good opportunity.
McIntosh and be looking to get it right back to Freer on a quick shot here, but he doesn't get a hold of that, and it is cleared out to neutral. Simon throws it back in. Lachlan Freer chasing it down on the forecheck. A couple of changes on both sides. One more needed by Chinese Taipei than New Zealand in this case. They move that up to neutral. P.A. Wen taking the zone. K.Y. Chi has it. He sends it around. Hayward Jones looking for it. Gets it back to McIntosh. Lachlan Freer looking for the outlet, looking for Chris Eden there, but he's 1-on-4, so they dump and chase. Eden chases after it. He gets there. No icing, no problem there, and that goes back out to neutral. New Zealand have to reset. It is Mitchell Freer with the pass there. That's up to Eden. Eden dumps it forward. It's onside, and it's Marcus McDonald sending it around. Good to see him on the ice. Daig with it, sends it forward to the corner. McDonald leaves it behind, and it's Orr out there. Back to McDonald's shot. He doesn't get all of it. Orr's got it for a moment. Behind the net, they struggle with it, and it is Chinese Taipei pushing it out to the corner. Stays in, Daig at the half board. He goes over the goal line, charges in, goes behind the net, tries a wraparound, doesn't quite get there. It was Shao on the pipe just in time, and another shot that's off the mark goes into the corner. Chinese Taipei looking to get it out of the zone as quickly as they can, but they are struggling defensively during this shift. They finally get it out. Daig's got it, and he holds on to it, pushes forward, and New Zealand getting a change. Chinese Taipei desperately jumping over the boards now, and Daig with a cross-ice pass. Freer with it. He's going to gain the zone, comes in the middle, takes the shot high and just on target. It was a blocker save, goes up and doesn't quite get to the net, but stays in the zone, and that stays with Burns. Burns trying to hold it in at the point. He does. Dylan Devlin, I think, lost a glove there. I'm not sure where that's at, but it's in the corner. They're fighting away with it. And that comes halfway out, and Wu's got it. Wu dumps it forward, and Chinese Taipei skating hard. Lin chasing this one, but it is Callum Burns beating him to it, and that puck comes out. Devlin's got it. Devlin looking 2-on-3. He chips and chases. That goes high, goes to the glove. Dalmateau gets close, and that's a stop in play.
Yeah, the reason Dylan Devlin was playing that most of that shift without the glove is he just got a bit of a scuffle down on the hash marks there, and him and a Chinese Taipei player were tied up and just lost his gear, but carried on playing the shift without it.
I've had a lot of pleasure watching Dylan Devlin over the years as a viewer, I'm sure. Great player, exactly the kind of guy you want on your team.
Atwell wins the face-off. Moving it around, that is Chalice sending it in, but it is Chinese Taipei catching the puck. They hold it in for a moment, but back out to neutral, and that is, I think it's Wen, that has that one. Pan holds it in at the point, low shot, and a good deflection, the best chance Chinese Taipei has had, but that was stopped and knocked away. Brooks gets it up to Carey. Jacob Carey up the right side looking for help. He sends that pass in for a moment, but he's taken out, and it's Hayward Jones trying to chase after it. Chinese Taipei trying to clear it. They can't do it. That goes out halfway and goes to neutral ice. New Zealand still bossing the puck here, and it'll be McIntosh bringing it in the zone. Takes the shot. That's deflected off the stick of Chang Hang Yang, and that goes into the netting, so a face-off coming up.
This is good play from Chinese Taipei here. This is the best opportunity. Like you said, Matt, the shot from the point, looking for the deflection in front. They haven't had too many opportunities to get a shot on goal, so they'll be happy with that opportunity right there. Great save from Brooks as well.
McIntosh wins this one out to Freer. Freer with a long shot. It was a good screen, but it doesn't quite get through. Chinese Taipei knocking it the length of the ice, and that will go for icing as Freer back first for the virtual touch-up.
I just want to point out a couple of debutants for New Zealand as well. Marcus McDonald had a great shift earlier on, getting involved down low. Who else we got? We've got Axel Rusky-Jones, number 13 for New Zealand, and Ian Ordus making his debut for the New Zealand teams in the World Championships.
Chinese Taipei winning another face-off, but giving up possession. That stays in with Freer. He dumps it close to the goal. McIntosh can't keep it in, but Freer's there at the point. They continue to give Chinese Taipei the hardest of times, trying to get the puck out of their own third. Freer again at the point, passes across to the center. That's held in again. Mitchell Freer doing a great job on that right point. Skating around that is Eden. Cycled back to Freer, long shot in, that's deflected. It was kind of a sneaky changeup, and it fluttered for a moment but didn't quite get through. Now Chinese Taipei with a 3-on-2, but they take a long shot. Brooks gloves it aside, but doesn't stop play, and Freer again sending it forward, goes to neutral, deflected forward, and that is up to Regan as Regan kind of chases in and tries to take an angle, but he's knocked out to the side and pushed to the boards. Burns with it now. Amston. And that puck stays. No, it doesn't. Chinese Taipei with a 4-on-3 if they can go quickly here. They have a chance. Shot. Brooks with a rebound. And only one shot there, but a dangerous one, as that's 2 rebounds in a row that have come out in front of Brooks. Something to watch for there, and that's passed forward to Rusky Jones. He's going to gain the zone, flip it in. That's a dangerous chance, and a penalty comes up. That's going to be on Chinese Taipei for interference. Yeah, it was Brooks was out of the net for a little while there as they tried to get a 6th player out, but they didn't quite have enough time to develop that play. So the interference call goes for 2 minutes. And it will be a 5-on-4 with McIntosh starting the power play for New Zealand.
Unsuccessful on the first power play. Let's see how they go here on this second attempt for New Zealand.
That one won immediately by New Zealand. It's Eden in the corner. He gives it out to Daig. Daig holds it, gives it back to Eden at the half board. In the slot, trying to get it to Carey, but he couldn't get anything on it. And Chinese Taipei try to clear it, but they don't. Jacob Carey with it again. Gets it back, looking for a pass. No, he holds it. Cross-ice pass to Eden. Just a little bit too far out there. Daig gets it back. Passed it forward with nothing on that. Daig had to kind of just play defense there as it was a little too much over, and they go in offsides. It's YC Lin that is just a little bit too quick, and that will bring the face-off out to neutral ice.
That's unfortunate. You can start to see a little bit of fatigue there, you know, killing the penalty. You get a great opportunity to 2-on-1 there, but go offside and, you know, comes outside.
And it does look like Chinese Taipei is focused on the counterattack mostly, especially now that they're down a man for another minute 25, I think it is.
Yep.
And they dump that one in long, give it back to New Zealand, and it'll be Daig with it. Justin Daig. Daig leaves it. That's Otis coming up to Carey. Carey gains the zone, leaves it for Eden at the right point, gets it back in the corner, and the cycle starts with Eden at it on the right side. Passed in front. Daig with it out high, passes it low. McIntosh with a backhanded shot, and that's just carried away by Taipei. But Chinese Taipei not getting it out of the zone inexplicably there. Eden holds it in, leaves it, gives it back to Otis. But that's taken away for a moment. They have to fight for it at the half boards. Kept in by New Zealand. Carey sending it back to Eden, but that one clears. Daig with it, quick touch up. Eden brings it in before they can change. And a pass in front. Eden looking at it, getting some space, moving, shooting just outside the target. That goes over to McIntosh. McIntosh holds up the puck at the half boards on the far side. He skates around as there's only 15 seconds to go on the power play. Eden with it, sends it low, in front. Eden gets it back, shot low, kicked to the side, shot, and a save by Shao. Carey digging away at it. The puck was never really frozen there, but the referee called play, and the power play is now over.
Wow, there was a lot going on in that final moment there of the power play. There was just a lot of plays in front of the net, and Shao was doing a good job. That just the puck, I don't know where it was. I don't know if anyone really knew where it was, but the referee decided to blow the whistle because when you can't see that puck, you sort of you just got to blow the whistle there.
Yeah.
But really like the power play from New Zealand in that one.
Atwell pushes it to the side, and it is a chance by Dalmato, but Shao jumps on it quickly and gets the stop. We'll do that one again.
I have noticed that during the power play, Chinese Taipei are sending up someone onto a puck carrier, especially at the high point. They're getting up there quick and just trying to disrupt that pass or shot. And
yeah, they've got the legs to get back as well, so it's working quite well for them. They send someone up high, drop back, set the box up, and they're doing a good job of defending that power play.
Chinese Taipei breaking out and gaining the zone, moving it into the corner. But that's sent out just as quickly. Dalmato with a spin pass, but that doesn't come out of the offensive zone. Chang with it in the corner. Hard angle shot. Brooks looks at it, gives up the rebound, but he's just up against the pipe there, drops down and gets the stop in play.
Nice. Yeah, it was a really tight angle shot there, but it's good to see from Chinese Taipei. You know, they're going on the attack. They're getting those opportunities.
So this will be Cheung Yang Chen in the face-off circle against Joe Orr. A local favorite here, Joe Orr. And
yeah, not wearing his familiar number 9 for the Ice Blacks.
He's number 8 today, and he'll be taking that face-off a second time as they
couldn't take the 9 from Flynn Hayward Jones, and we know why.
It's family tradition.
Burns with it. New Zealand with that win. Skating it out quickly. McDonald sending it up the boards. 2 to chase there. Orr gets there, but it is turned around by Yanlin Shen. And it's Anston with a shot on goal from the circle. That puck gets knocked out, but not as far as the blue line, and Burns with kind of a 9-iron there.
Yeah, a bit of a flipper.
And it was close. Shot. And Chen gets knocked away, and a penalty coming up. This one's going to be some sort of interference on Alex Regan. Pan with it as Chinese Taipei is 6-on-5 for the moment. They're trying to get their goalie off the ice, and they have done just
all
that.
Sorts of changes going on. They're trying to get fresh legs out there. And New Zealand also getting fresh legs out there while we wait for Chinese Taipei to bring it out from behind their own net.
And here comes the offense. Chinese Taipei on a 6-on-5 here on the delayed call. Interference coming up. We think it's interference anyways. And they continue with control of that. goes out to the point. Mo Peng sending it up the half boards. Peng getting it back. Very cautious play here, obviously, because if anybody touches it, that's a back to the side. Brooks with a save there, and that is stopped by Colin McIntosh. And now we can see the penalty, and that call is indeed interference. Here you go.
Don't know if we caught it just on that replay, just out of shot. But good signs from Chinese Taipei. They took the time, set themselves up for that 6-on-5. And that should play well for their power play, the way they move their puck around.
We got the free preview of the power play there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hongshu Lin, nope, that's not correct. That is Chungyang Chen losing that face-off but keeping the puck. C.E. Sang with it as Sang holds on to the puck. And Chinese Taipei setting up the offense, trying to get some speed up the left side. They come in quickly. Sang losing that puck. Chinese Taipei holding on to it. Chen, Sang, and back out to neutral. Sang with it. Sang skates in on that left side. New Zealand playing the standard 2-2 box, and they play that out to the point. Chinese Taipei moving up the half board, setting up in a 1-3-1. They look for some sort of a long chance here. Jin with it. Knocked aside. Good save there by Brooks. And that goes to Sang again. That's deflected and held in. A very adept move by Chinese Taipei, but then it's flipped forward. Jacob Carey is going to go on the forecheck here and try to pester Chinese Taipei while the other three change up. Carey asking for the line change. The puck left behind for Chinese Taipei in their defensive end, and it'll be Atwell forcing the issue. Chinese Taipei coming forward. That is Mo Peng again up the left side. Leaves it at the point, sends it around. Wen in quickly, and it goes out just as fast as New Zealand sends it the length of the ice, and Chinese Taipei need to reset with 30 seconds to go on the interference 2-minute call. That goes up the left side again. Pan going as far as he can, goes around the corner, goes around the net, passes, and then gets it back into the corner. Wang with it, then gives it up. Back to Wang. Lin. Pan with a long shot. That's knocked around. Good chance there. Peng has it now. Their top line getting a decent cycle going here, but then that's given up. And it goes to past Dalmateau and the length of the ice, and that will be the end of the power play for Chinese Taipei, as it does not pay off. One shot on the 2 minutes. Dalmateau with it, passes it forward. Peng, knocked aside. Otis with it, then Simon. Long shot, deflection, and a goal! A fantastic shot with an immediate deflection, and Shao with no chance as that hit the perfect spot in the upper right pipe.
I think that was, Ivan Dalmateau scoring there on the deflection after a power play for Chinese Taipei. New Zealand hit back with the opening goal here in Dunedin. Joel, who was that shooting from the point there?
You see Simon drop it in there. Just gets the stick down.
I think it came off the shaft, didn't it? The way it looked to me. Maybe off the back of
just put it down, got it off the toe there.
Yeah, wonderful start. Been a
absolutely.
tight first period, but New Zealand breaking the seal of the scoring.
And we're back out at neutral ice. McIntosh wins that one to Freer. Freer gives it to Daig. Daig sends it in. And it's the Lachlan Freer to Mitchell Freer combination.
Drawn up by Cam Freer.
And Eden with it in front. Takes a chance, doesn't get through to Shao. As he tries to step in front of the crease. That stays in with Daig at the point. Gets it back. Considers a pass, then a long, low shot that's deflected immediately by Lin. Lin bringing it in, gains the zone, that's onside, and another flip towards Brooks' net. It was not on target, and that flips back out. That will go for icing if it goes far enough, and it does. That was Mitchell Freer on the escape.
Get another look at that beautiful goal here.
Yeah, Simon with that hold in at the point. And what a perfect deflection. That's one that just works. You can't really do anything other than just put the stick there and it gets the perfect spot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Dalmatau wasn't alone there. He had pressure on his back, so he had to fight hard to get his stick free, and he did well.
He did.
McIntosh to Freer. Lachlan Freer now up to McIntosh. He's going to take it over the blue line. Holds on to it. 2-on-4 here. A good chance. Chow in a good position. Not really too much power on that, but a good chance trying to move Chow, and that is icing as well.
Icing by the smallest margin too.
Yeah, very strictly called, but correct.
Correct indeed, yep. Absolutely. Yeah, well, you were talking about that goal before from Dalmatau. You can see as he turns away from the defender, gets his stick down, creates a little bit of space, and then pops that water bottle, which is always a nice touch.
Chen and Atwell going after this one. Chen wins that one, and Chinese Taipei with the puck. They've had a run of face-off wins, and that has definitely benefited them throughout this first period, as they've had a lot of opening possession, but then New Zealand turning around and holding on to it. Shot from the half boards, and where did that end up exactly? Did you guys see that one?
Is it, I'm not too sure. Is it in his glove?
I thought it was in his elbow or something.
He doesn't. Shao doesn't really seem to know either. I don't think it's. Oh, there it goes. It's off a glove and gone over the top.
Yeah,
into the netting. Yeah, 22 seconds left of the period.
And Atwell wins that one. New Zealand keeps it up against the kick plate there, and that's pushed all the way to the other side of the ice. It's not going to go for icing. They got to chase this one down. Amston gets there and leaves it for New Zealand. It'll be Burns holding on to it. He's going to skate it forward. He sends it in around the glass, and a good hit there as Carey gets there and makes sure his player knows that he was ready for that puck as the first period ends.
Yeah, a very a tight first period. Shots, we've got shots 10-9 in favour of New Zealand. New Zealand with the lead here in Dunedin, 1-0. It was a late goal to Ivan Dalmatau, assisted by Luke Simon. Joel, what did you think of that? How do you think that period went for New Zealand and Chinese Taipei, respectively?
I think there's a lot of hard work going on from both sides, really. It could have really, really gone either way. You know, Chinese Taipei were making those opportunities as well. Maybe not as many as New Zealand's had, but they had some great opportunities. You know, as you said, shots 9-10.
Yeah, to me, it sort of felt like New Zealand's game plan was a little bit of get the puck in, try and cycle it, and use their physical presence to win the puck battles down low and create turnovers. Where I felt Chinese Taipei, the way they were trapped in their own zone, they were doing pretty much a run and gun approach, trying to get up with speed, take shots, and if they get the opportunity to cycle to the top, always put the long shot on.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at some of the replays here for that first period, and it's been an interesting one. I mean, for me, for Chinese Taipei, I actually thought they had a really good first period. They couldn't really have done much better other than to score. But the biggest thing that they had a couple of opportunities in front of the net with deflections in front of Brooks, giving him a little bit of a hard time. But they won a lot of face-offs. Their difficulty is getting out of the defensive third. But if they win those face-offs, then they're in control of the puck, and that gives them a chance to do that. This is one of the early ones right in front. And we'll go through that again here. So this was, there we go. We'll go back to the replays in just a minute. That's how it works sometimes. So I think again, for me, New Zealand's, I thought they left a little bit on the ice there. They had a good chance to make some more opportunities, but they got the one they didn't necessarily expect, and it worked out for them. So here's one of the chances in front. I think this was it Amston?
Yeah, Stephen Amston. This was very early on in the period.
A good struggle. And this was a turnover.
That was a penalty to Peng Mol there. That
Yep.
led to the first power play for New Zealand.
There we go.
Power plays didn't work out for either team really, but I'd say both of them would be happy with the way they moved the puck around. Maybe more shots from would be keeping them even happier, but
Yeah, I think the Chinese Taipei power play was looking a little bit tighter, but a lot of that will come down to those guys probably play together a lot more than the New Zealand national team. New Zealand national team, for anyone out there who isn't aware, doesn't actually get a lot of time to train together. So that's where you're going to miss out on the chemistry for things like power play, penalty kill, vice versa.
And this will be the wraparound attempt. I think it was just a really good save by Xiao. You see this one here, and this is good positioning. You'll see his his left leg right there, and slamming the door right there. That is exactly what he needed to do positionally in order to make sure that that got shut off. That was one of the best plays in the period right there.
Absolutely. He's been great in net for them. He's been coming up with some really big saves because he's been put under a lot of pressure, and New Zealand have made it, have been testing him. Another great one there.
Yep.
yeah, he'll play the majority of the games. If I'm looking at my research right, he played the majority of their games last year.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be in net for most of the games this tournament
You can see why he's been, he's been up against it. He's been facing it, but he's been doing very well.
Let's take a look at this one here, guys. This for Chinese Taipei, this is exactly where they are going to have the most success. Now, what you see is you'll have the defenders for New Zealand here and here. And when this goes forward, let me see if I can stop this at the right time. You see that break right there. And as soon as that happens, that is a free deflection. It is as good a deflection chance as the one that New Zealand scored on. The only difference is this one deflected just a little bit differently. Otherwise, we might be saying it's 1-0 the other way. And when you play that forward, if that deflects just right for Brooks, there was actually a pretty decent opening there. We'll see it again as this comes in. And that's just too much space to give up to Chinese Taipei.
Absolutely.
In that
You can
series.
see him just create that separation from the two defensemen. Gets open. Great opportunity.
Good save by Xiao there. And that was a chance for Eden. And another kind of a whip in here. Now you see the puck. This will trickle out.
This is the big, this is the big
there it goes.
pile up.
And that's when they call it. So you can see, and this will be a good view actually, if you're an upcoming referee and you see something like this and you think, okay, this isn't easy. Yeah, you don't see the puck. Nobody has any idea, and then it's right back there.
Yeah.
That's not easy. So understandable there.
This was on the power play for Chinese Taipei, and again we see them taking the shot from a long distance.
And here's the goal.
Just such a beautiful tip in front. I mean, you couldn't ask for it to be any cleaner, really. And where it's going to go is up high over the shoulder. You see, Xiao is looking for the low tip. He's got his glove in good position for anything coming up just above his pads. But you can't react in that time. You've got zero time to react. So you just got to try and put yourself in position as best you can.
Yeah, and you look at the speed at which he gets his stick down at the exact moment where that puck hits, and bang, top shelf. Thanks for coming.
And that is the difference in the game right now. 1-0 the score for New Zealand. Again, we were talking about this as fine margins, and this game is one of fine margins. Right now, New Zealand's up. I think they've got to be happy with the situation that they're at, being up 1-0, but this is still all to play for, really.
1-0 is 1-0,
Yep. Tight game so far, New Zealand versus Chinese Taipei. We're going to have a short break, and then we'll be back for period 2. No mai, hoki mai. Hello and welcome back. We're here at the Dunedin Ice Stadium in the beautiful city of Otipoti, Dunedin, New Zealand. We're here for the 2025 IIHF Men's Ice Hockey World Championships Division 2 Group B. We are just coming up to the start of period 2. It's a tight game between New Zealand and Chinese Taipei. It's 1-0 to New Zealand, but it feels like it could be anyone's game thus far, Matt.
Yeah, so far what we're seeing is a lot of even chances, a lot of even opportunities and shots, shot quality. It's gone New Zealand's way so far, but if Chinese Taipei turns this around, particularly if they counterattack, and I'll mention this, second period, long shifts, this is where a counterattack can be just very effective if done well. It can also be done not well and can turn around and bite you. So it'll be a very interesting second period as the teams change sides.
And Joel, New Zealand's only goal scorer, Ivan Dalmatau, run us through that play that got the New Zealanders in front.
Oh, it was just perfect, really. You know, they wheeled it around the zone there, out to Simon on the point. Just dropped in that nice shot. You can see, yep, Simon drops it in there. Dalmatau just makes space of the defender, little spin move, gets the stick down. Right here you can see it. Little spin, stick down, pop, bottle goes up, goal light goes on, Sally happens, we're away.
And that goal doesn't happen without Dalmatau. It's not like that shot was going to get through otherwise. Without Dalmatau being there, there's no chance.
Exactly. That's what they always say, you know. Get the puck on net, good things happen.
That's right. Bit of a wait here as Mopeng comes out to the ice. I think he's walking some of the staff out. So it'll be just a moment. You might see that on your screen there.
Wanted to take a shortcut, but turned out to not be quite so short when you've got to hobble across the slippery surface.
And it is slick. They tell me it's ice. Ice slick. So.
Looks like a very good surface here. There's no standing water down the ends by the looks of it. So
no, the guys have been doing a great job with the sheet the last 2 weeks. It's been nice. It's been looking beautiful.
Yang and McIntosh to take this drop, starting the second period of action. Chinese Taipei with the puck. Peng with it, dumps it in, and we're underway. Knocked aside by Freer. Eden trying to clear the zone, but Pan at the point holds it in for Chinese Taipei. It goes to Mitchell Freer to Lachlan Freer. And they choose to clear that. That goes up to Chris Eden one-on-one. Leaves it behind, and Lin sends it forward for Chinese Taipei. Wen across the ice, one-timer in on Brooks. He leaves it for Daig, and that puck goes out to the half-boards. A good defensive play by New Zealand goes out to neutral, and Chinese Taipei reset.
That was a really fortuitous stick by the New Zealand team there to break that pass up.
That's passed forward into neutral ice. Atwell's going to get there first. It's deflected, so no concern there. And Freer looking for the long clearance, goes out halfway. Sang with it. Sang holding, skating backwards. Sang gains the zone, gets hit immediately by Jacob Carey. And then it's Chalice. Passing it to Daig, getting it back, but that's nobody home there for a moment. Chinese Taipei holding it in. Daig with it around the board to Chalice. Chalice looking to center it. He does, gets out of the zone for a moment as Atwell had a hard time getting it through some skates. It goes back in. Chinese Taipei bossing the puck around here for the first minute. That gets in front, a chance, and Brooks has to look at it as it goes high and over his mask. A high shot, then a blocker save there. Goes out to the half boards and sent back in. Daigle with it. He gets it taken off his stick. Jacob Carey with it now. Carey holding on to it. He's surveying his options as some of the New Zealand team changes. Chalice allows it out, and Lee sends it back in, but they've got to touch up. They are offsides, and now they've cleared, but New Zealand has the puck. Sent in by Justin Daigle. That goes around to Shen. Shen holds it for a moment, and Shen gives it up, but it's 3 off that left side there. Chinese Taipei with another left side charge. They seem to be holding on to that strategy as it's been working for them. That's Dylan Devlin with the puck for a minute. It's turned over, shot, and oh, that is a close chance there Didn't get the number on that shot as it was going through the crease. Brooks with an excellent save.
I think it just might have just hit the pads and then come off the post as well.
New Zealand with the puck as Chinese Taipei over the boards getting some fresh players. Amston loses that. Devlin with a shot. Shao with a quick rebound off of his own spill there, and he holds the puck.
Yeah, 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes into the second period, and I think all of New Zealand's woes down their own zone, probably partially caused by their own inability, just not to clear the puck, or they're just not looking after the puck on that exit cleanly enough.
Chen winning another faceoff. Taipei doing a great job as at the faceoff dot so far. Lin with it. Chinese Taipei chase in. And that is turned over to New Zealand for a moment. Behind the net. And 4 New Zealand players take the puck away from Chinese Taipei as they look to exit the zone here a little bit. That's a poor pass. It goes to Peng. Peng with it to Wen, to Wang. Long shot in, and Brooks holds on to this one. Glove save, and a very important one at that.
Yeah, not the silliest move there. Bit of traffic in front, just get it on net, see what happens.
Chinese Taipei putting lots of pressure on the puck carriers down high.
They really are.
Really force them to make passes, which they probably don't want to make. And
Absolutely, I think they got a good chat in the locker room there at the end of period break.
Or against Lin. Warning to Orr on that one for going a little early.
chewing on that mouth guard as he always does.
And that one's won by New Zealand, an important one, and Daig has it behind the net. There's that heavy forecheck you guys were talking about. Daig gets it out to Regan. Regan going up the left side. He passes it. A chance there. Shot. And that's knocked aside as Rusky Jones had a chance there. Lin with it. Lin gains the zone. Leaves it for the other Lin, who sends it back to Lin. And then back to Mitchell Freer. New Zealand clears the zone, sent in by Regan for a moment, but sent right back out. YK Lin chasing on this, but Daig's going to get there and get the icing, and that's an important one as Chinese Taipei trying to get off the ice in order to get a change.
What a great lead pass here by Regan.
Beautiful lane there.
I think Hayward, was it Rusky Jones?
Yeah, I was trying to get it there. It looked like a little bit of a stick lift. I actually think that was really good defense in the end there. Maybe I didn't see it for sure.
Yeah, just got a stick in there when he tried to pull it in for the shot.
They're going to try to take this face off again. Atwell wins this one, but it's given up to Chinese Taipei. It goes back to Lin. Lin gaining the zone, 3-on-3 shot, and that's kicked aside. That goes into the corner. And New Zealand holding on to it for a moment. They get it out of the zone. 2-on-2 here. A chance for them as Chalice looking for a pass. He holds on to it, waits for some defenders to come forward. And that's Carey holding on to it in the corner all on his own. He's got it in front. Turns around. Shot and a goal. Jacob Carey with a spinorama. Goes 5-hole and doubles the lead.
Jacob Carey did all the work himself from the corner. Up against the defense to win the puck free, and then just took it to the front. And the spin move to get some space and take the shot.
Yeah, watch that. Steps around him. Bam. Goalie was not expecting him to do that at all. The goalie was waiting for him to pass that off.
I'm not sure anybody was expecting him to do that except him. And a fantastic goal. 2-0 the score. And that's 2 for New Zealand. And it's going to put them in a better position here as they have survived the counterattacks and the push by Chinese Taipei. There's a shot by Chi as that's knocked aside. It was Sandoy putting that into the corner. Good defense there. Devlin chopping at it. And that gets around to Dalmato. Can't get it out. Devlin chases this down behind the net. Devlin knocked around, but he still has the puck. Chinese Taipei back off just a little bit. A long pass in front to Dalmato. He's going to be there first.
That was good speed from Dalmato.
Sure was, and that is sent around out to the point. Simon with it. Can't hold it in. That's a chance. There's a breakaway here for Chinese Taipei. all alone. Chance against Brooks, and he scores! That is Yi Hong Woo making it 2-1. Yi Hong Woo with the breakaway up the left side and gets it past Brooks, making it 2-1.
When we watch this on the replay, you see him just comes through, just a little move of the stick, freezes Brooksy, puts it up.
And it was Sandoy trying to chase back on that, just couldn't get there in time. The Chinese Taipei player out-skating the New Zealander in that case.
Just a little chip, no defenseman on the blue line, flat-footed. Had the speed, had the legs up the left side there.
And Chinese Taipei win another face-off. They get the puck. Lin's got it. Goes past to Daigle there. No icing here as that was deflected. Daigle with the puck as it's behind the goal, and he tries to get that out. He does. Just as far as Freer, but he can't get it out of the zone. Chinese Taipei hold in. Freer passing it. Gets it out to neutral. That's McIntosh. Gains the zone. Knocked over. That's a penalty coming up against Chinese Taipei. It will be Yi Cheng Yang going 2 minutes for holding.
Yeah, Colin McIntosh trying to just protect the puck there. Player gets the hand in underneath the arm, just pulls him down. Could have been a hooking. That's what I initially thought it was for.
Yeah. Well, no, hooking or holding it one way or the other. It's definitely 2 minutes sitting down.
Power play number 3 here for New Zealand. 0 for 2 so far in this game.
McIntosh to carry, passed around to Daig, to Eden, and the top line back out there for New Zealand. It is held by Otis. Otis spins around, heads towards the net, turns around, side shot. That's off the post, it looked like, by McIntosh. That stays in the zone. Daig with it, passes it low, and that's turned back out. They're going to have to reset this one here. Chinese Taipei trying to reset their defense, and it's a dump and chase up the left side. It'll be McIntosh at the point, but it doesn't go that far. Otis with it in front. Otis trying to find a pass there. It goes to Carey. Carey looking for help. Carey spinning to the half boards with Eden. Eden's got it outside. Eden walks it a bit. Pass and a shot. Another one off the low post. Shot by Carey again. And that gets kicked aside. Otis, another solid power play here. Just haven't scored yet, but it looks like it's coming. Daigle up high, through traffic, doesn't get through, and that's turned back out to neutral. A solid effort for 90 seconds, guys.
Oh, just great opportunities for McIntosh on that left-hand side.
McIntosh back in the zone, shot, and that not everything on that, and there will be another penalty coming up. It looks like Chinese Taipei will go off again, I believe, for a hold.
Looked like maybe a slash goal. Let's see if we get a replay here on some of these opportunities. McIntosh on that left-hand side hits the outside of the post. I think he hit the outside twice.
Yeah, and then Carey almost slotting at 5-hole again there as well on the rebound.
So that'll be Po Sieng Wang going off for 2 minutes. It'll be a 43-second 5-on-3 for New Zealand here. And this will be a turning point for Chinese Taipei, whether they can hold this off. That is a fortunate bounce for Chinese Taipei. It is Lin with it, taking his time, crossing the blue line, taking a shot 5-on-3, and continuing with pressure high. We'll see if New Zealand can make this pay off as they move up the ice against the triangle. They gain the zone and leave it behind. That's Burns with it, and Burns knocks it out of the zone, wasting valuable time on the 5-on-3. Amston with the pass forward to the blue line. They gain the zone again, dump it forward. Chance here, shot, and a save. Atwell's shot, stopped by Xiao at point-blank range.
Yeah, 5-on-3. New Zealand just struggled to get themselves set up in the zone there, but it was some good defensive plays from Chinese Taipei there. They hustled up ice hard to put pressure on. And then when the puck came back into the zone the first time, it was number 7, Wang Young Swan, who got a good stick on the pass across ice, forced New Zealand back out.
Daig with it at the blue line. He passes it to Eden. Back to Daigle. Long shot deflected. McIntosh trying to sweep in a rebound. Couldn't do it. Continue on the 5-on-4 as one more player comes out. Long shot by Daigle. Deflected and still stays out. Xiao with it. Standing tall in front. Passed high to Eden. That's a low pass that doesn't quite get through. It's going to go the length of the ice as Chinese Taipei deflects that back out. Daigle's going to collect that puck. He's going to leave it behind for Audis, and a 5-on-4 here for 23 more seconds, I think, is the time here. Audis with it to McIntosh. Left out for Carey. Carey at the high left, looking for options, passes it forward, gets it back for a moment. That goes out of the zone, and Eden has to chase this one down. 34 seconds to go on the power play, and it's Daig with it, looking and surveying. That passed up to McIntosh as he hit himself on that blue line. That's going to go deep, but it's going to come back out again as it gets just as far as the Zamboni doors, and Chinese Taipei throws it back out. 14 seconds to go on the power play. Amston looking forward to Atwell. Atwell with it, gains the zone, leaves it behind, and sent to Yang. Yang's going to send it the length of the ice, and that will end the advantage once again for New Zealand. New Zealand has it again. Dalmato with it, chance, and that's deflected. A good defensive effort by Lin on that play, and a 3-on-3 developing for Chinese Taipei. Instead, they hit the brakes and go for the line change. Amston with it. Amston sending it forward to Burns. Burns looking up ice. That's passed up to Dalmato. He gains the zone. Passed back to Burns, but that's intercepted. Chen with it. Chen loses it. Turns around. It's given up to Chalice for a moment, and then turned back out by Yinghua Wu. And Wu's got it. Wu behind, looking to the point. Shen with a long chance. That's deflected into the corner. Amston sending it around the backside and sent over to Lee. Lee sends it back in around, but it's New Zealand with it. Dalmato falls over. It stays in the zone. Played with a high stick, but that's cleared there, and Amston lets it go. And a chase for it at the half boards. Regan trying to hold on to it, can't do it. Regan getting rid of it. It goes out to neutral. That's going to go as deflected. They're going to get a change out of this. New Zealand gets some fresh legs out on the ice. Chinese Taipei looking for the long pass. They're going to try it here, but that's intercepted. It was Simon in front of it. He saw it coming. He passes it. That goes in, and that's played by Chinese Taipei. That was Shen sending it around, and he gets it out of the zone. Passed over to Chi. Chi's going to come up the right side, but leaves it behind. Get everything but bring the puck in, and it's Regan with a 3-on-3. Takes the shot blocker save, or kick save, and that one goes out into the netting.
Wow, what a run of play there. You know, Chinese Taipei doing a great job. Their goalie is just doing great work keeping them in it. Like, so many opportunities that he closed down there for New Zealand. First save, second save, third save, just doing, great work.
So it'll be McIntosh taking this face-off against Lin, and New Zealand end up with the puck, sort of. That's out to Chris Eden, and that's passed forward to Lin. Goes out to neutral. McIntosh has it, gains the zone, 1-on-2, dumps it forward. There's a fight for it. Freer sends it around, back to McIntosh. He's checked in the back there. 1-on-2. Chang's got it. Chinese Taipei trying to clear it, can't do it. Eden trying to hold on to it, but he loses that puck, but gets it back at the goal line. He comes in on the net, holds up, good backhanded chance, and they send it back down to him in the corner. What looks like almost a power play cycle here, even though it's 5-on-5 at the moment. Sent into the slot, and it's going to be Chinese Taipei knocking that forward. Lin taking it from Daigle, a good hit. Takes him out of the play. Daigle gets the puck back, and some physicality ramping up here as it's Chinese Taipei looking for a bit of a forecheck, and that is sent out as it's Yi Chen Lin with the shot and deflection hitting the net and stopping play.
Turnover down low by Justin Daigle gave Chinese Taipei that opportunity, and Lin just had someone get a stick on that as he turned, doing a little Jacob Carey spin move, trying to get that on net, but out into the netting over the top of the goalie, Aston Brooks.
Devlin did a good job to get the stick there and pop it up.
So a late change here. Not sure if that was an equipment-related deal, but it'll be Yang and Devlin. Devlin wins that face-off to Amston. Goes over to Burns. Burns turns it over at the half boards. Chinese Taipei with a heavy forecheck here, and it pays off as they hold it in at the point, send it around. Burns trying to get it out. Amston with it now. He looks to pass out of there, and he does get it. It's a 2-on-1 chance, but Dalmato can't hold on to what Devlin sent him. But Devlin's going to be at the half boards collecting the puck, sends it forward. Now nobody over there on the left side, and it's Amston to collect it. Amston with a shot that goes off the glove, rebound given up. Turnover, a chance again for New Zealand. They send it forward. Shao giving up a big rebound, and that goes out to neutral. Yang gets hit, and the physicality ramping up as New Zealand pushing around Chinese Taipei a little bit. Yet, in this case, was at 6. Yeah, so a penalty coming up against Chinese Taipei as they were changing. They're going to get caught with 6 on the ice, and that'll be 2 minutes.
Yeah, some bone-crunching hits coming from New Zealand there in their last period of play. But it's not just New Zealand. Chinese Taipei, this is one big hit here. That was just a Daigle. What a shoulder there.
Leveled him.
But Chinese Taipei also been physical when the puck is in New Zealand's defensive end. They are fighting for those pucks to cause turnovers.
Absolutely, and they're winning a lot of those battles too, and getting that first pass away.
And it's still 2-1. The New Zealand side really hasn't been able to turn those opportunities into goals as much as you would expect them to do. That conversion just isn't there yet, but it depends on how this, is it a matter of time, or is it that Chinese Taipei really are playing this defense well? A little discussion as to who's...
Yeah, they haven't got anyone in the box yet, so they're sending a player from on the ice into the box and putting another player on.
Xingwei Li serving this 2 minutes, and that looks like the clerical work is all sorted out.
Let's see if New Zealand can score here. They were so close in their previous power play.
And they hold on to the puck as they start the cycle. Eden on the outside. Low shot in to McIntosh, trying to get a one-timer across, but didn't connect quite. That's a tough pass to knock forward. But they cycle through here. Daig with a pass to Eden, back to Daigle. Big shot. Lots of traffic in front. That puck just spins in the low slot. But it's Chinese Taipei and Lin coming out as hot as can be, trying to get a shot off here. That counterattack still very good for the Chinese Taipei players. They are choosing to be as aggressive as possible here with nothing to lose. That's off to Audis. Cross-ice pass from Carey to Daigle. Daig's got it. He sends it forward, shot. And it was Carey in front of the net. And he gets pushed in, and Zhao takes the worst of that. That is a very physical play. Let's take a look at this one. This is... the
pass across from Justin Daigle.
Yeah, and Carey just getting knocked into him there.
Yeah, he just kind of stops up and just loses a bit of, has his momentum keep going.
Yeah, the puck was going to bounce off his skates and towards net, and just the pressure from Wang is
you're always going to get a response when you hit the goalie in any way. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. And
with just over a minute left, we get started again as Dalmato has the puck, holds on to it one-handed, gets it to Burns at the low point. That's back to the point. Burns with a shot that hits a Chinese Taipei player in the back. That was Yuan San Wei, who was in the way. And we continue play with New Zealand holding on to that puck with 40 seconds to go on this power play. Amston with it. Amston to Dalmato.
Very aggressive, getting that player up in the face of the New Zealand puck carrier.
Yeah, I mean, they've been getting great results by doing it, so I don't see why they'd stop,
That was Atwell trying to get it around to a teammate. That's Amston with it now. He's got a long shot in. That was almost deflected. The same way with Dalmato trying to get a stick down, but that one didn't go through. They continue. Atwell with it, cycling out to the point. Burns goes low off the board. Back to Burns, holds it in. Penalties almost up here. Atwell back to Amston. Back to 5-on-5. Amston with a low shot that's kicked out. Another shot knocked away, and Chinese Taipei with a 2-on-2 here. Lin has it, and his line mate decided to go for the change. A very important decision there as New Zealand now has it. McIntosh with a 3-on-3 shot. Freer is just off. It's a delayed call against Chinese Taipei. New Zealand still has the puck, 6-on-5 here. I'm not sure if they notice it yet. They haven't pulled off Brooksy yet, and there he's going off. Now they hold on to it, and it's kind of that's going to be a disappointing one there for Amston, not really getting a good shot off. But Brooks goes back out, and we have another power play for New Zealand.
You watch this play develop here. You know, you've got the three New Zealand players there on the rush. Caught the Chinese Taipei guys just a little flat-footed, and a great opportunity. You can see why he's come from behind and slashed him there, because it was a last-ditch effort. That was a great shooting opportunity.
Once again to the power play for New Zealand.
And they win the face-off, and that's Eden with a very deep angle shot that goes off the goaltender's gear and then just kind of flips behind. Now it's 2-on-2. Chi has it, takes a shot, doesn't get through. But once again, Chinese Taipei doing a great job of just being aggressive. And then there's Justin Daigle taking his player right out of the play. Otis with it, he gains the zone, holds on to it, looks for help. Chinese Taipei in the box. Daig across to Eden. Eden holding it on the right side. He rims it around, goes past Otis to McIntosh. And it slows down just a little bit as they decide what they want to do. Daig with it out high, goes to Eden. Eden winds up, takes his shot, doesn't get through as Shao is in front and holds on to that save.
But the Chinese Taipei defense and the power play, their penalty kill has been really good. They're yo-yoing back and forth between the points, putting pressure on that puck carrier at the back. But they're also really quick at swooping on loose pucks in front of the net and clearing it out.
Absolutely, and not even clearing it out, skating it out and getting opportunities at the other end.
New Zealand with the puck, but a great poke check there. And that was once again by Wang there. Po Xiang Wang with the defense.
I think New Zealand just need to sort of draw the players down a bit lower. Try and draw them down in front of the net before moving it up high.
And as that's dumped in by Chalice, it's going to go the length of the ice. Chinese Taipei getting rid of that puck. And we're down to 40 seconds on this advantage. Passed forward to Eden, up to Otis. Otis goes across the middle, leaves it behind, shot, and it doesn't get through. Eden's got it high on the circle. He skates around, sends it low. Carey with a quick wrist pass to Otis, trying to catch everybody off. And that goes out. They're going to have a quick conversation about this and where it went out, but I think it went over the player bench, which will not be a delay of game.
Yeah, tough one to call there when it goes out over the player bench. It's a funny bounce off that gate. No, they deemed it was not a delay of game, so it remains a 5-on-4.
And McIntosh getting the warning here on the faceoff. And we'll do it again. And that puck is controlled by nobody in particular. Now New Zealand has it. McIntosh with it. He skates around Shao. Holds it. Leaves it for Carey. Carey with a quick pass in front. Chance. Shao up to the task there. Didn't hold on to it. Now Carey has it again. Wrister. High shot just over the bar. A dangerous chance there. That goes to Daig. Gets it to Eden. And Eden goes past his stick. And McIntosh holds on to it, but he's got to clear the zone as he's at neutral ice. Penalty is over. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. McIntosh skating through 4 players there. Kicks it forward up to Carey. Shot! And that's knocked aside. Carey trying to go right. And he's beaten by Zhao this time. Justin Daig with it. Out to Eden on the left this time. Carey spins it back to Daig. Back to Eden. Eden in front. Otis trying to get something on it. That stays in the zone. New Zealand bossing the puck in the offensive sides, but they just trying to get that last connection. A shot, low shot that bounces to the right. New Zealand still holds it. Wraparound shot, just off target. Got some changes here, and that's Sandoy sees that go by. And Chinese Taipei trying to get off the ice, but they can't do it as they ice the puck.
Well, that was a period of a lot of shots from New Zealand there. We just seen some skills from Colin McIntosh on the replay, kicking it forward to Jacob Carey. And a few times in that shift there, puck's just been thrown towards net. Yeah. But Shao was just keeping them out, keeping Chinese Taipei in the game.
He really was. And New Zealand doing a great job of controlling the zone there, getting lots of good opportunities.
Regan Orr and Devlin on the front line for New Zealand, up against some very tired Chinese Taipei players. They're going to go for a change as soon as they can. And New Zealand continues to play forward. They hold on to the puck, but it's stuck at neutral, and it gets sent the length of the ice again. That is icing, and they will continue to have the same Chinese Taipei players on the ice.
Yeah, 1:05 left in the second period, and I think if New Zealand have their way, those players will stay out there.
They need to go into this with a power play mentality, get control, start cycling it, hold possession for 10-15 seconds, tire them out, get some shots away.
Or Regan and Devlin out there, that goes out to the point with Burns. Low shot in, doesn't get through, and Chinese Taipei get it out of the neutral zone, passed forward. They come in, Lin and Lin, excuse me, and then that puck gets taken away from them. But they do get a couple of fresh players out, and that's forward to Devlin. Devlin's got a chance here. He's knocked aside. Regan gets the puck as two players are behind. He looks for a pass that goes to Orr. Orr can't handle it. Goes to Amston. Amston sends it around to Devlin. Devlin looking. He's hit. That is a cross check coming up against Chinese Taipei. And they will sit for 2 minutes. Once again, New Zealand on the power play.
Chinese Taipei guilty of just too many penalties here in the second period. This one a cross check in the back.
Yeah, look at that, and it was almost, if it hadn't been a cross check, it was almost went boarding as well. It's just that step off the boards there. But yeah, discipline. It really needs to be addressed. I'd say there's going to be some strong words by the coach in the period break.
But they need, if that's to be the case, New Zealand needs to score on the power play. Otherwise, they can keep taking penalties, right?
Yeah.
So there we go.
So far, 0 from, I think, 5 so far?
I think 7.
7? Jeez, I've lost count.
McIntosh wins it, but it goes out to neutral. Daig with it. Out to Carey. Carey holds. Back to Daig. Daig's going to go up the middle, gives it to Audis. They get some speed coming in off the left side, leaves it to McIntosh. McIntosh pass low, up to Carey, and that's bounced around. Audis back to McIntosh. He's going to take a shot. He does. That bounces to the side, goes a little high off a Chinese Taipei player, deflected up, and that's out to Eden at the half boards. He holds on to it, walks it in, takes a low pass, tries to get it behind the net. That's Audis with it again, leaves it behind, goes to Eden, and we are out of time in the second period with a carryover power play of about 1:27 that will open the third period. We end the second with New Zealand 2, Chinese Taipei 1.
Yeah, and exciting period, really. Two goals, one apiece for New Zealand and Chinese Taipei. And you just feel that this game is it's going to take something special from one team to break this open and get them the win, because it's tight. It is very tight between these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you see the work ethic from Chinese Taipei. They are just going balls to the wall here, really. You see their forecheck. They're just so aggressive on the forecheck, even when they're on the penalty kill. I would not be surprised to see a shorthanded goal in this game with the way that they're forechecking. New Zealand, as you said before, needs to capitalise on those power plays. 7, as you said, Matt?
I think it's 7, yeah. I'd have to check that officially, but it's either 6 or 7, and they haven't scored.
Yeah, they had the 5-on-3 as well, which they couldn't capitalise on. So that's I don't know, is it really an area concern, or is it just, the opportunities aren't quite there, or Chinese Taipei is just really good on the penalty kill?
Yeah, so for me, when you look at the counterattack that Chinese Taipei is deploying against this power play, it is preventing New Zealand to go all in on the power play, and that has, at least for me, felt like the thing that has prevented that chance from arriving. So they're playing on a knife's edge in the sense that they're very aggressive and counterattacking as quickly as they can, and they're not just clearing the puck. They are trying to skate that puck out as much as they can, and that will give up chances that if you make a mistake, Chinese Taipei has the chance to make New Zealand pay in that case. On the other hand, is it a matter of time? Because there have been so many quality chances for New Zealand, especially in that second period. Quality chance after quality chance, and Xiao has been the answer for Chinese Taipei. And to be fair to him, I think he's having a tremendous game so far.
Absolutely. He's having an amazing game. And you look at the weapons that the New Zealand team have on that power play. Any one on that unit, especially the first unit, but also the second unit, has the ability to score great goals.
So we'll take a look at some of those plays in that second period. We'll go through these. It's a good hit there by, I think that was
everyone got
Carey.
a piece of that one.
Yeah. And that's one of the better chances. That one's the one that went over Brooks's head. He had to track that one, and a good chance for Chinese Taipei there to make that an even game at that point. Good chance from the point there. Now that's one of those, that'll make Xiao look good in that case, because even though he gave up a rebound, he didn't have the traffic in front, and that's where New Zealand started to work its way back in.
That was a huge opportunity right there. You know, that was an amazing play. He's caught the defense flat-footed. You've got 3 New Zealand players there. Bang, bang, bang.
Yep.
Watch the stick work from the defense here, though, Joel, as he gets that stick just in. He
Yep.
got just there.
That lift. We'll see it. Maybe we'll see it on the other side here if we have the goal view of it. This is exactly where I was saying the right.
Oh.
That was the spot right there where the that lift happened. That might have been one of the plays of the period too, because that was a really good chance.
Now, who was that taking the shot?
It's Axel Rusky-Jones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
he had to
big goal
reach.
scorer.
He had to reach for the puck.
And this is the goal for Chinese Taipei. Yeah, so we'll back this one up here just a minute and take a look at this. Well,
Goal by Wu Yi-hong.
And we'll reset that here in just a second as we go back to this.
He stood up the defender on the blue line, and that caused the breakaway.
It's just such a good, clean wrist shot, too. That was nobody was really expecting it. And that was one of those counterattacks that if you take a look at what Chinese Taipei were trying to do, I don't think in this case you have a defender expecting you're thinking time stoppage or going out to the corner or something, and he just goes after it. And because of that, I think it was Sandoy was kind of caught between 2 players there.
Yeah, and he went for the big slash too.
Yep.
To try and prevent the shot.
And the other thing with Brooks as well, he could see the second Chinese Taipei player coming down, so he had to think there's a possibility there's a pass coming across.
Yep.
Takes that little bit off the post to kind of cover the pass also.
Yep.
Leaves it open.
So this is the start of the sequence of several penalties that were called against Chinese Taipei, and a lot of power play opportunities. This was a good one here.
That one was probably the best for McIntosh on that power play.
Yep.
Set up by Ian Audas.
Yeah, and just good positional play for Xiao to get his blocker back on that one. Another backhanded chance there. That was by Eden.
New Zealand did rack up the shots in that second period.
They did.
26 shots to 10, we're told. That's
But you're talking about Xiao being such a great goalie. He's not giving up a huge amount of rebounds, but when he is, Chinese Taipei are there to clean it up and move it out. You know, so many.
So this was another one of those big chances for New Zealand on the power play.
New Zealand did have some traffic in front there. But
And
there's the cleaner. Look at Chinese Taipei, so quick
Yep.
and crisp in getting that puck out of danger zone.
And it's been happening time and time again. New Zealand have the players in front of the net creating a little bit of traffic, but they're just not picking up, cleaning up the garbage in front of the net, as well as Chinese Taipei, who are just.
I think
doing
you
a great
thought
job
that
cleaning
last replay went in for a second.
Yeah. No, that was the one in real time that I wasn't sure, and then it ended up So it looked like it hit a shoulder and then went over the net.
It did, just briefly, as I thought the same thing.
Yeah, it was one that could have come down in just as easily as gone over. There's another chance here for Chinese Taipei, again on that aggressive counterattack. Great hit there, and that was Daig putting a shoulder in.
You're not never going to have a good time trying out muscle Daigle.
No, not at all. So, and a very eventful second period. However, 1 goal on each side. We're still with New Zealand just 1 goal ahead, which means New Zealand probably wanted to get out in front as quickly as they could and kind of put this to rest. Chinese Taipei, well, they may not be happy that they're not ahead, but they're within reach of getting this one on level terms, and I think that is exactly what they would have wanted to be able to say. If you told them 2-1 at the end of 2, you're just down by 1, they'd probably be, yeah, we'll take that, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they're in the game for sure. Better than last year. But unfortunately for them in the third period, they're going to start on the penalty kill again.
Again, yes.
So that's not a great start for them going into the last period. But that's it for this period. We're going to take a wee break, and we'll be back for the exciting conclusion of this first game for New Zealand versus Chinese Taipei. No mai, hoki mai. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for period 3, New Zealand versus Chinese Taipei. Both teams fighting it for the very first victory of their campaign in this 2025 Men's Ice Hockey World Championships, Division 2, Group B. My name's Matt Whiffen. We've got Matt Chavez here doing play-by-play, and on analysis we've got Joel LeBreton. It's 2-1 to New Zealand so far after 2 periods, but it's a tight one, and I don't think we could pick a winner this far out from the edge.
Not a chance. The what we were talking about at break here was really interesting. The 0 for 7, it was 7. There's 7 penalties on Chinese Taipei. And I'll say it's been interesting because as a penalty goes, you don't normally say discipline penalties. And there was an exception in there, but most of them have been on scoring opportunities. And because of that, it seems like a really well-coached team over in Chinese Taipei. They've been filling the lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about the structure and just how they're just doing that great job of blocking away, closing off those lanes, blocking shots, clearing up rubbish in front of the net, forechecking hard when instead of just clearing the puck out of the zone, chasing it down, getting those opportunities, looking for short-handed goals.
Yeah, they've been excellent on the penalty kill. They do start this period with a penalty kill. Chinese Taipei, New Zealand on the power play for 1:27.
Third period action coming to you from the Dunedin Ice Stadium. New Zealand up 2-1 and on the power play. Carry with it as we get underway for the final 20 in the opening round here in Dunedin. Daig with a long pass up to Eden. Eden throws it in for the rim around to McIntosh. He leaves it. Goes to Carey. Carey chases behind, leaves it again for McIntosh in the corner to Daigle, to Eden as they cycle around here on the power play, and that's turned over and sent only play up to McIntosh. That's flipped away by Chang into the corner, but turned back over to New Zealand. Passed in front, Daig's knocked down, and it's 2-on-1 developing for Chinese Taipei. Eden back on defense, long shot into Brooks. Brooks holds on to it, which is exactly what Chinese Taipei was looking for, a face-off in their offensive zone.
Yeah, this is the danger if New Zealand do end up turning the puck over high in their defensive zone. Chinese Taipei so fast to pounce on those opportunities, to drive up ice.
Absolutely, and so it's a great way to kill penalties is getting shots on the opposition net.
Yeah, play down the other end for
Yang
sure.
gets that face-off to Pack, and that gets, or to Pan, and that goes behind Brooks. That deflection, that dangerous one, just slightly off target, or a shorthander was on tap there. Now it's to Burns. Burns looking up, passes across the ice. That's going to go.
Not icing?
Not played there, so not icing, and the penalty is over. 5-on-5 hockey now, and a good hit there by Dalmato, deflection, and that puck going to New Zealand. A good break as that goes right to to Burns' stick, and he's got it again. He's looking up to try and set up an offense. And that passed all the way down to Chalice in the low point. He takes it in as New Zealand gets a change. Burns goes back. He passes across the ice, gets it back himself. Chalice collects as that's off a skate. Back to Burns, he leaves it behind. It goes out of the zone. Lynn with it, takes it in with a back pass, and a good one for YK Lynn. And that goes around to the far corner. The Zamboni doors over there. And it's McIntosh with it on the edge of his stick, and he skates it out. 2-on-4 here. He gains the zone. Good stick move, but it goes into the corner. A little bit of a high play there. But, we play on. Simon with it, sends it in, gets it back, and sends it around the boards, going back to McIntosh. He is intercepted. And there's Sang with a good move as he comes in on his own, passing. And as they tried to cross the crease there, they could not connect. Chinese Taipei with a dangerous counterattack. Probably should have shot that first, but
that's what I thought.
Sandoy with the puck as it goes out to Freer. Freer deflects it. It stays in play. And they play it up against the board. Devlin with it at the half board. He gets hit hard. And that goes to Freer, goes out to neutral. Chinese Taipei coming up. It's Chen up the left side. Leaves it behind for Shen, but that's turned over. And here's a chance for Eden if he can outskate this puck, but he can't get there in time. Chi has it, goes behind Xiao's net. Chi with the puck and holds on to it for a while. She just fires it into the New Zealand bench.
Yeah, heads up on the bench there for New Zealand. That one just fired straight at them. But great play by Sang here. And he could have shot this, but he went for the tough pass through the legs of number 4 for New Zealand there. Sandoy. And they didn't get a shot away on that one, which is unfortunate for them because that was a great opportunity.
That face-off won by Chinese Taipei, and they break out of the defensive zone. That's Pan with a shot into the corner. Daigle trying to send it out. That's deflected in front. Brooks with a good kick save as it was redirected on net. Chinese Taipei moving it around the ice quite well here, but that's a turnover. Kick to side. Devlin with it for a moment. That's skated in, and that's going to be a penalty on Daig. That is maybe a second one as that it's taken down. It's we'll see if Dalmato is going to also get the gate, but it is a holding call, and Chinese Taipei will go on the power play here.
Chinese Taipei definitely looking like the sharper of the two teams out at the start of this third period. They're moving the puck beautifully.
They just
And
came
this-
high stepping out of the gate, didn't they?
yeah, this speed is something else here.
Chen to take this one penalty here, 2 minutes for that hold against New Zealand. Chinese Taipei trying to level the score here at 2.
0 for 1 on the power play, Chinese Taipei.
And special teams playing a big part of this. Long shot, Brooks can't see that one for a moment. It gets deflected. He moves across the crease and stops what would have been a chance for Chinese Taipei. They couldn't get the second shot off. Sang with it. Sang gives it back up to the top. Lin gets deflected. H.J. Lin out to the other Lin. Back to Lin to Sang. Sang walking it. Good move there, but loses it. Amston's chasing that. Sang, Lin. Lin. The Lin connection not there in that case. And that one goes out to Wu. To Sang. Sang on the blue line. Sang holds. To Lin. Low corner. Back to Sang on the point. Fakes the shot. High shot there. That's off target as Sang was trying to get that one outside. And that's going to go to the length of the ice. New Zealand going for a change here, as does Chinese Taipei with how much on
Just
that
under
one?
a minute.
There
on
we
the
go.
power
A minute
play.
done. And pass forward. Chinese Taipei on side here. Wen with it. Gives it back to Peng. Out to Pan. Far side. Pan. Playing catch with somebody there. I don't have a number. And a low shot that goes off target into the corner to Pan. And that's to Lin. High shot and a deflection, but not on target. Chinese Taipei with a good chance there. Sandoy chases. Off to the half boards. High to Pan. Pan takes a slow shot, change up there, and that gets in on Brooks. Freer in front, and that is an important save for New Zealand.
Well, just the puck mover from Chinese Taipei on this power play has been fantastic. It's moving the puck fast, not just
Yeah. Quick,
across, but
snappy passes.
quick passes. And there's shots. The player who's just finding himself in front is not getting enough body on him from the New Zealand defence to take that opportunity away. And so the tips have been about there for Chinese Taipei.
Chen to Shen, long shot in. That's Lee with a long one, and it's in front. Brooks holds on to it, and will do it again.
Good job by Brooksy there to cover that up and shut down that opportunity, because you need to break this momentum here. They're doing a great job snapping it around. Probably a few more shots from Chinese Taipei, perhaps.
So this power play about over with. You can hear the tapping of the goaltender's stick, and that ends it. 5-on-5 is where we're at. And a bit of a chase there by Carey. Good forecheck by New Zealand. But it's Wu and then Chen. Chen with some speed. Chen skating through. Chen drawing a penalty here. And they're going to call, looks like a trip.
A slash.
No, it's a slash.
Yeah, it didn't look like a trip. I thought he just lost his footing there.
It looked like an edge to me as well. We'll see that here as we go through.
Just a great little quick up pass.
Sorry, guys, I don't
Was
see
there
that one.
slashing on another player there that we missed?
Maybe something behind the play. perhaps.
But yeah, puts Chinese Taipei back on the power play. Third time tonight.
Yeah, well, they've got the taste for it now. So
Oh yeah, yeah they do.
Devlin to take for New Zealand. Chen getting the warning. Chen winning it. Back to Sang. Sang at the point. Holding on to it. To Lin. Sang. Having some trouble with it. To Lin. Passes low to Chen. Chen behind the net. Shot. Kick save by Brooks. Goes to Lin. Lin at the point. Goes a little lower to Chen. Sang at the top. Sang holds on to it. Trying to talk Devlin into coming after him. He doesn't. They stay in their zone. Skates all the way around, and that's a good deflection there by Lachlan Freer as he gets it out of the zone. That was an important time killer for New Zealand. When forward, Chinese Taipei come in. Got a couple of changes coming in. They're patient with it at the half boards. Up high. Low shot, kick save, and that's going to go out. It was Mo Peng with a good chance there, but it was Brooks seeing that all the way.
Yeah, big deflection came all the way out to Devlin, who got the clear and went for a change.
45 seconds to go as Chinese Taipei comes in. Peng with it in that low corner, leaves it for Wang, out to Pan at the point. Pan changes the sides of the ice, goes out to the high slot. Peng, and a shot that's deflected in. It never gets on net. And a little bit of head down for the Chinese Taipei team. Just got a couple of passes there, and then it just didn't connect.
Yeah, it was the right idea. The New Zealand defense is just starting to adapt to this Chinese Taipei power play a little bit more now, I think.
And that's Mo Peng with it. Going out high to Pan. Over to the right side. Wen with it for a moment. Back to Pan. They've adapted to a 1-2-1 here as well with Burns down low. Pan has it. Long shot. That's deflected off of a shaft. I think that was Yang there. And that's going to be sent out. And that ends the penalty. 5-on-5 again. And that is offsides on Chinese Taipei. So we'll get a stop in play.
Well, New Zealand survived consecutive power plays for Chinese Taipei. There was a really good-looking couple of power plays from Chinese Taipei. But Aston Brooks in there keeping New Zealand ahead by 2-1. Just over 8 minutes gone in the third period. That was a tidy penalty kill from New Zealand.
Absolutely.
They're going to move this one forward a little bit as that was an intentional offsides. McIntosh with it. He sends it forward. Rings around up to Eden. Eden gets the puck for a moment, but then it's turned back to Chinese Taipei. And that goes off the near boards here. Chinese Taipei trying to get out. They do. Simon kind of gets in the way of his guy there, and they're not going to give him icing. They're going to say that, and it was a funny bounce off the dasher, a chance there for Chinese Taipei, but they weren't expecting it as it crossed into the slot there with a good pass off the half boards. New Zealand moving that back out to neutral. And it's McIntosh and now Simon with control. That pass goes forward off of Lachlan Freer, goes into the corner. They're going to go for a change while Eden pinches that puck in at the half boards. He holds on to it. And New Zealand working to get their offense together. Shao with it in front. He's sliding across. That puck trying for a wraparound. Daig with it, exploring his options, then sends it back to Eden. He's in the low corner. He looks for a pass. He circles back instead, leaves it for McIntosh. McIntosh holding on to it. Three-man cycle on that right side. Now McIntosh moves it across, goes to the opposite corner, bounces it in, and that's going to be sent around and out of the zone. A good play there by Chen. Now Wu has it. He's going to come up 1-on-2, and a good defensive effort by Daigle, and then a shot comes in, and that's off target. Stays in at the point and goes low as it's Wu trying to chase Daigle down. Daigle has it. He gets it out of the zone, passes it around, and it's Audis with it as he's taken out by three players. And a penalty coming up here.
Whacked the stick away as Ian Audis was trying to grab it.
And that is
I think it's interference.
I think that's either interference or delay. We'll see, but it's definitely 2 minutes.
Just off the side of the screen there, but yeah, Ian Audis got surrounded by three players that got his stick knocked out of his hand, and as he went to grab it, they just swept it away from him.
That in a tight game like this, that is not the move.
You know, the funny thing, guys, is we were just talking about how the well-coached and disciplined Chinese Taipei is. That is an amazing mistake to make at this time.
Right in front of the ref there. No hesitation calling it.
But not one you see at this level very often. Chinese Taipei with a counterattack here. Lin with it, takes a shot, and Brooks has to make a save on the power play. 2 shots in, that one by Chang, and they continue play. Brooks just let it go. But the offense starting for the team on the shorthanded, and that may go for icing, and it does. So Chinese Taipei bossing this power play to start with in the first 24 seconds.
I can I'm not a fortune teller, and I can't see into the future, but I have a slight feeling that New Zealand might be practicing some power play in their next training session.
Yeah, I think it's just the speed of Chinese Taipei and the willingness to get in the face of the puck carrier.
Absolutely.
Yang wins that one. They almost give up a very close shot by Posiang Wang. He's just got his stick lifted at the last second. And that puck is battled for. Amston with it now up to Burns. New Zealand trying to gain the zone. They finally do send it around, and they'll start their offense here. Carey gets it, sends it to Atwell. D'Amato. Carey with it, takes a shot. That's knocked aside, goes into the corner. It's going to go to Amston at the point. Amston sends it back in. And that's passed across with a deflection, and it'll go out to neutral. Chalice has to control it. They go for some changes here. Amston trying to jump in on that, and another penalty here. That's going to be a hold against Chinese Taipei. 5-on-3 for 46 seconds coming up.
Well, they're not doing themselves any favors here, Chinese Taipei. It's just his feet weren't moving, just holding on, and it's 5-on-3 for 44 seconds, which is plenty of time for New Zealand to try and make this power play work. It's been sort of dysfunctional, but it's not because their own fault. It's Chinese Taipei.
Just so aggressive on the penalty kill, and New Zealand hasn't found any answers for it yet.
McIntosh wins this to Daigle, to Eden, back to Daigle, and they set up on the 5-on-3. An aggressive 2-1 by Chinese Taipei. Out to Eden. They're playing too high on this one. That's an unusual formation for a 5-on-3. Eden passing it back to Daig. Out to the side, back to Daig. Back to Eden. Eden passes it in front. Chance, and they can't get that shot to connect. That's going to go the length of the ice, and it'll be Chinese Taipei for a change as New Zealand resets their offense. Daigle up to Carey. He comes up the right side, catches him a little bit by surprise. He goes deep, looking for a pass. He sets up that pass to Daigle out at the point.
Here comes the player off the penalty box.
5-on-4, Eden with it. They go back to a 2-2 box. That's off the post. Comes back out. Carey at the point. Carey walks it in. Carey looking. Passes, looks for the give and go. Then it goes back to Eden. He hits the post. Just the low side of it. Eden gets it back, going behind the net. A chance there. It was Audis, I think. Eden with it. Eden low. Eden looking. Eden walking. Takes the shot, another one off the post. That goes high. Just the outside of the pipe there. And a chance in front by McIntosh. They continue with this as there's 33 seconds to go on the 5-on-4. Eden has it for a moment, then it's stolen away. They have a chance to break here. Chinese Taipei taking a chance here. Pan with it up the left. Takes the shot. Tries to go 5-hole on Brooks. Brooks has to make the stop. And once again, the counterattack proving effective.
Absolutely. Big save there by Brooksy. You can see he's got that second player coming in there. Just held it as long as he could. Brooks didn't bite and come off that post. And, couldn't quite slide through the 5-hole.
Justin Daigle, good position there just to block off that pass. There wasn't really a chance for that pass to get through to the player in the middle there.
Atwell winning that face-off for New Zealand as they continue on this power play. One more chance to come in here with about 15 seconds to go. They leave that behind and have to reset. Passed forward to Burns. Burns is going to take it in, dump and chase. And that's going to be 5 seconds. Turned over and go back to neutral. We'll go back to 5-on-5 here. And they do just that. Burns takes it, flips it in this time, goes to the opposite corner. Atwell to chase in. Forces Chinese Taipei to go the inside route, but they do get it to neutral. Amston with it. Burns. And that goes into the corner there. Knocked to the side. And it is Regan trying to chase that puck down. And Chinese Taipei breaking out here. They've got a 3-on-4. Once again, trying to just take it as deep as they can before they get a change, but they're going to counter here. New Zealand with a chance as they try to get that out to neutral. They can't really force it forward. It does go in the zone. and comes right back out. Chinese Taipei pushed to the boards there. That was the captain, Lin, getting forced off that, and now Hayward Jones leaving it behind. Freer sending it in deep. Hayward Jones going behind the net to try to track that one down, but it's going to go the length of the ice. They will call icing, but it's not going to get there. They left to let it go. Devlin with it. Devlin looking up ice. Devlin forgetting the puck for a moment, then gets it back, sends it behind the net. Sandoy trying to pop it off the half walls there, and turned over to Chinese Taipei. It's in a dangerous spot. Ooh. A big save there by Brooks as Sandoy gives that up in a delicate spot. And Chinese Taipei with the puck and the momentum at the moment. Long shot in, Brooks kicks it away. And New Zealand looking to break that out. That is Sandoy with it. He gets 3 players around him. That's turned over. Wang with it. He's going to take a shot right in the breadbasket there for Brooks, and he holds on to it for a stop and play.
Well, even though New Zealand have had plenty of power play opportunities, this is an opportunity that Chinese Taipei have been making the most of all game. Turnovers by New Zealand, and it's been a period of pretty much Chinese Taipei shot dominance here, out shooting New Zealand, even though they've been shorthanded for a long time.
McIntosh gets that away from Yang, and an absolutely trucking move by Orr as he takes his player out when he was passing back in. Daigle sending it behind, and New Zealand holding on to the puck. Freer with a snow stop, and they send it around halfway. It's Eden with it, with a big pass out to McIntosh. He's one-on-one on the right side, looking for a pass coming into Orr. He doesn't make that pass. They get to the net. He leaves it outside, takes the shot. That's deflected away as Day can't get that through traffic. And Chinese Taipei looking to break out. They have numbers here, 3-on-3. And that's turned in to a backhanded wrister. That goes behind harmlessly, but Chinese Taipei keep it in. Chen throws it back in. Wu sends it back around. Chi has it now. Chi with it. Chi looking. He gets a pass in front. Brooks in a good spot there, saving that one. That's gone off to Lin. Lin on the right side, skating fast. Pass out to Chang. Chang holds on to it after he asks for it, and that puck never gets past Carey. That's deflected in, shot, and that's continuing offense by Chinese Taipei. Chang with it. Another block by Carey, not allowing that puck to get off the point, but Chinese Taipei continuing to hold possession. That stays in on the blue line. Extended possession here for Chinese Taipei. Daigle looking to clear the puck for Eden. Eden gets it taken off of his stick. That does go out to neutral. They'll get a change here, desperately needed by New Zealand. One of the Chinese Taipei players loses an edge over there. I think that was Yuquan Lin, and Sang sends it back to him. Must be okay there as he skates in. And that is on offside. Pan couldn't hold on to that blue line long enough.
What a sustained barrage of shots and plays there from Chinese Taipei. Just hemming New Zealand into their own zone there, tiring them out. And, I mean, the conditioning on Chinese Taipei, they are still going very, very strong here with 3 minutes left in this game.
Oh, they're absolutely outskating New Zealand at the moment. They're winning races to the pucks.
Atwell winning that face-off. Burns has it now. Burns with it, sends it halfway up, but Peng's going to intercept it. Mo Peng throwing it in, goes deep, and it'll be Hampson to Burns there, and they let that go. We'll see if that goes for icing. It does as Peng gets back.
Yeah, it really is. It's conditioning and speed and the skating ability of the Chinese Taipei players. They're hustling and they're fighting for every loose puck, and it's coming away for them more often than not.
Absolutely, just cycling it around, getting shots away, picking up the passes.
Chen Yang winning that face-off, but New Zealand getting the puck after that. And it's Amston as he's held for a moment. Not enough to draw a call, and Carey gets back as the forechecker of the moment. Gets it to Burns just as far as him as it stays in the offensive zone. Devlin with it. Devlin holds it in the corner looking for an outlet. Devlin goes to the point. Long shot in by Simon. That's deflected away. Chow knocking it back into the corner, and that's Devlin again. Out to the point to Simon. Simon sending it around. Dalmato with it. Dalmato sending it behind. Devlin picking it up. Devlin looking for the give and go. Can't quite connect there. And that's Audis with it. Audis with a shot. Shao trying to knock it away. Another shot that bounced off the kick, off the pad there for a kick save, but it was more of a pass off the pad there. It just didn't quite come off. Devlin passes it forward to Dalmato. Dalmato takes the shot as Devlin charges the slot, but it doesn't quite connect. And Chinese Taipei right on the counterattack there. That is Zhu Lin sending it behind Brooks' net. Out to Sang. Sang. And a stop in play and a penalty coming up. And a timeout being called by Chinese Taipei with a hook on the boards.
Yeah, Ivan Dalmato going to sit for 2 minutes at a crucial time of the game. Only a minute and 11 seconds left. And New Zealand had a good shift, but it really hasn't felt like they've been in the zone on offense much this period. And now they had to kill a penalty towards the end of this game with a slim 1-goal lead.
Guys, if I can jump in here from what I'm seeing, this feels like a stalemate. Like nobody wants to make a mistake. They want to kind of push, pull, whatever, but not really just go after something for fear of losing the counterattack. In both cases, they call a strategic timeout here to get their best players back on the ice for the last 70-some seconds of the third period. I can expect that they will continue with an empty net over there. So this will be a 6-on-4 power play, but
no, looks like Shao is going to.
Shao is going to come back out,
which is unusual.
I think they're going to just wait and see if they're going to win possession.
Yep.
If they get possession, I have a good feeling that he's going to make a run for the bench there.
They have waited a while on this, but I thought this was finally going to be where they do. Then they put him back out there. So Shao is in net, 5-on-4 here, and a big face-off win as that goes off the glass past Sang, and Chinese Taipei have to collect the puck on their end of the ice. It'll be Peng sitting there on the blue line waiting for this puck to come up. 2 on the blue line actually for Chinese Taipei. They skate in, and the play is on as they come in with some speed. That is Sang hitting the brakes, going out to the point, holding on to it, gets it back, empty net now, 6-on-4 coming in as the other player comes on the ice. And New Zealand under the gun here as they have just a minute to go, and a shot, McIntosh with a shot and an empty net goal.
Colin McIntosh
just throwing up 3-pointers.
Johnny on the spot, got the intercept, and the power play that's been working so well for Chinese Taipei has failed them here right at the end.
That one pass and steal there, the benefit, if you can say that, of being on the penalty kill when there's an empty net is there is no downside to taking a chance.
Absolutely,
and that one paid off.
Absolutely not. And of all the people to pick a pass and have an open shot on an empty net, Colin McIntosh is not the person you want to have the puck.
Now they're still on the penalty kill, New Zealand, so they're down 2. We would assume they will continue this 6-on-4 as much as they can. We'll see. But at the moment, Shao still in the goal, which is a surprise to me. Being 2 down, there's no real benefit.
15 seconds left
on that, and the time running out for Chinese Taipei. Sang with it, he gives it up, gets it back. Big shot coming in, never gets through. And this tight game is going to come down to, oh, there's another one that goes just off. I think that was a stick save there by Brooks. And Chinese Taipei runs out of time. New Zealand taking this one 3-1.
You were saying before about them leaving the goalie in net for Chinese Taipei. Tournament like this, goals against are so important. It could mean the difference at the end.
Yeah, that is a very good point. There are teams that are in those situations that every goal does matter. So that might have played into that. We don't know. We're speculating, but that was the third goal for New Zealand was finally. I don't. For as long as we were in the building last week, and this is the most relief I've felt collectively. Everybody in here that's a New Zealand fan just exhaled once McIntosh hit that goal.
Absolutely. That was a big goal to score. Very much so, because you don't want Chinese Taipei on that power play any longer.
And we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go. We'll have the ceremonies and such here, but I do want to say, we'll get back to this, but I think Chinese Taipei, they might have lost against the run of play here. It's close. It's really close.
Well, that third period felt very much in favor of Chinese Taipei.
Yeah. So we have national anthem coming up. Is that right?
We'll do the player of the day for each team first. Announced, chosen by the coaches, I believe, for each team. So after this, then we'll go to the national anthem of New Zealand for winning. Number 25 for Chinese Taipei, Shao Po Yu, is the player of the day for Chinese Taipei. Really great performance from him. Just waiting on the announcement for New Zealand's player of the day. And number 1, Aston Brooks. So both goalies getting adjudged player of the day by the coaches of the teams. And there was a lot of shot on, and both goalies really deserve that award.
Absolutely. Number 1 on the ice, number 1 in our hearts.
Well, that's a picture that they'll enjoy forever, goalie fraternity, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But you're right. They both deserved it. They both played very well, and with as many chances as both teams had, they played an intricate part in that defensive battle.
And so now we will have the national anthem of New Zealand. Congratulations to Team New Zealand, the Ice Blacks, for winning their opening game up against Chinese Taipei. Taking New Zealand's record against Chinese Taipei to 3-0. They'll be happy with the win, but Joel, they will look back at the tape there, and I think they'll have a few things they want to work on for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we were saying before, facetiously I was saying they're going to be working on the power play. But that penalty kill from Chinese Taipei was just absolutely outstanding. They were just, the structure, blocking up lanes, being aggressive, looking for opportunities to get those short-handed goals. That's a tough thing to play against.
Yeah, they showed a lot of heart and a lot of speed to put pressure on New Zealand puck carriers, and it'll serve them well going through the tournament. They just couldn't get it done when they needed to. Right at the end there, they had that power play, the 6-on-4, right near the end, and just a misdirected pass. Give Colin McIntosh credit. He recognised the pass was coming. He took it, got the empty net goal, which gave New Zealand the security of that two-goal lead. So just recounting the goals, it was Ivan Dalmatel opening up New Zealand's scoring in that first period. And then Jacob Carey scored in the second period to give New Zealand a 2-0 lead. Quickly replied by Chinese Taipei. Wu Yi Hong got them on the board, and it was pretty even from there on out for the most part.
Absolutely.
Apart from the fact that it felt like Chinese Taipei had their eyes tilted their way with the amount of shots they were getting in that third period.
Very much so. And through those first two periods, it was looking the opposite, and that's why both the goalies got player of the game. They both stood on their head when their teams needed them to, and that was the tail of the tape in the end. Spectacular goaltending from both sides. That in the end, that was the absolute difference in this game.
Yeah, Aston Brooks stand out there in some of those segments of that third period, forced to make a lot of saves. Yeah, just Chinese Taipei kept the hammer down the whole
really
game.
Did. Yep, just cycling the puck, getting shots on net, making plays and quick, snappy passes, moving it around. Are they going to do well in this tournament this year, I think?
To me, it just, I don't know, I don't want to go on about New Zealand being tired or being too slow. It just felt like they just couldn't keep up with the pace they started with. They were forward-checking hard, and they were using their physical presence to win puck battles in the offensive zone. But they seemed to lose a little bit of that play towards as the game went on, and then it wasn't quite working for them as well. So they found themselves sort of like I wouldn't say allowing, but they found Chinese Taipei exiting their own zone a lot better than they did to start the game.
Yeah, and just not having that time to set it up in the offensive zone, start cycling it around, because those Chinese Taipei players were just on them every step of the way. You're snapping a pass across, Kerry to McIntosh, vice versa.
All right, so we have got Matt Chavez down at ground level. Looks like he's got a player interview all set up. So we'll head to Matt Chavez.
We're here with Callum Burns. Callum, captain of the Ice Blacks. That was a nail-biter, was it not?
Yeah, a little bit too close to comfort in game one, but we got there in the end.
So tell us a bit about the feel for that third period. So it was 2-1. You guys held the lead, and it just felt like counterattack after counterattack. How did you guys deal with that?
Yeah, we just had to stick to our game plan. Like I said, close game, but we felt confident in what we were doing. We just had to keep doing it, play an extra 20 minutes, and it worked out in the end. Okay,
now here's the fun one. How did you feel when McIntosh hit that long 3-1 goal in the short-handed situation in order to put you guys ahead for good?
Yeah, it was just thank God. It was just, I didn't celebrate too much. It was more of a relief rather than excitement for me at that point.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the fact it felt like just relief all the way through the building. I think everybody exhaled at that moment. But with McIntosh scoring that one, you guys were still shorthanded for that last bit. So I think you guys went 0 for the power play this afternoon. Did that play a big part in your strategy in having to counterattack and go after them, or was that something that you expected from them?
Yeah, we had, like I say, at the end, on the penalty kill, and the guys did really well on the kill. 20 seconds to go, guys are still blocking shots up by 2 goals. So, power play obviously something to work on. But first game, so we're not going to get our heads down right now.
That's right. Well, it's a first game, first win. Captain of the Ice Blacks, Callum, well done.
Cool, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you, Callum Burns, for that, getting that interview in there.
Absolutely.
I think Callum Burns, he said it, a little bit of relief there when that that goal from Colin McIntosh put them up by 3-1 towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. As they're saying, big sigh of relief across the entire stadium from all the supporters here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a decent crowd out here for the first game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've got a really big tournament coming up, but the city of Dunedin is really coming out for this one. We've got, I think, at least maybe 2 sellout games for the final 2 games. So,
Friday and Saturday are already sold out by the looks of it. So, it's going to be good.
Dunedin has been a great host for these 2 tournaments, and we've got a lot more hockey coming up. So, victors today, we had New Zealand over Chinese Taipei, Bulgaria over Thailand, and Georgia over Iceland. Yes, of course. Yep. Should know that. But that's going to end us here for this first night of coverage. We're going to be back tomorrow night, so make sure you lock into that nzicehockey.tv or IIHF.tv. We'll see you then.